All right, this is the Contemporary Christian Music Classroom, or actually it's the classroom presented by CCM 101. I'm Professor Jay, and I'm joined today by a very special guest.
Oh, Apostle Robbin Hargrove.
And of course, as always, by my beautiful co-host.
Hey everybody, it's Diamond Chanel. What's going on?
And we have a very exciting episode of the classroom for you guys today. Truly. We're actually going to be talking about Apostle Robbin's new book.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Thank you so much for having us on the show. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be back here again. And anytime you're getting ready to do a book, they've been talking about it. It's been in me for years. Yeah. And the hard part is to push the first one out. How about that? So Will You Just Sit Here and Die is the title of the book, and it talks about being stuck. Yeah, and being able to figure out how to, life happens. How many know that life happens and you're on the move and stuff comes out of the blue and you find yourself just in a place of feeling like nothing good can come out of this, nothing. And so this is really my testimony, just talking about different times in my life where all of the choices, every choice that I had, none of them looked really good. And sometimes you can get caught up in that spot of being stuck at the gate and unable to move. So we talked about leprosy.
Yes.
That's in the book. And a lot of times people talk about that being something that we don't have to deal with anymore. But from a spiritual perspective, it's extremely contagious. Right. And with it being contagious and you're sitting at the gate, you know how it is, right?
Yes.
You come on in and we talk about coming into service or meeting up places, and all your stinking thinking and all your negativity becomes contagious. You ever ran into somebody that you were feeling real good, and by the time you got finished talking to them,
horrible.
What?
What just jumped on me?
There it is. I need to deliver quick. I need a quick fix.
This thing off.
And it's not always so easy to get it off, once you're there. And so this is the easiest read. It's short, it's easy, it's large print, but it is powerful to be able to read again and again that I need to understand that I can't just sit here and die. I've got to get to moving. There's some highlights. Y'all stop me because I'm a preacher.
I know. But I want you to go in that. I want you to get in that, because a lot of people, just in case people don't know, for our listeners, where this title comes from. It's from the story of the lepers. Yes. That were cast out of their own city.
Yes.
And there was a famine.
Horrible famine.
In the land.
Yeah.
And there was nowhere for them to go. It's either they couldn't go back where they were. Right. And if they were going to ask the other army, then they would surely die. Yeah. So their situation was, we're going to die either way. So they were out of options. So this book, if you are out of options, if you feel like you are pressed against the wall, and I want you to just go into...
That's my daughter. You're hired. I'm going to get you a keeper. You break that thing down for real. I'm trying to tell you the truth. It's the truth.
Because it's serious. Sometimes we just get in that point in life where it's just like, it looks like I'm going to die either way. Yeah. It looks like my dream's not going to prosper. It looks like it's not going to work in my favor. It looks like I should just quit now. Yeah. So what's the point? Right. You know what I mean? So that's, it's a point where there's a point where you have options, and I'm going through, and I can maybe do this, I can maybe do that. But when you're at just the state of, I can't do anything.
God. It's called, how they talk about having the whole brain freeze and how painful that is for that moment, just remaining stuck in that place, that the situation has moved on, but you're stuck with the aftermath, that you are you're really in a paralyzed state of mind. You have options, but if your mind is paralyzed, unable to move, someone who is paralyzed and they have their senses and wit about them, but their limbs are not moving. When your mind is paralyzed, oh God, you have the ability to do so much, but you don't have the stamina, you don't have the focus to even get back in it, to win it, and your destiny is at stake. See, the enemy, he can't destroy you. All he can do is try to make the time run out. See, the purpose in your life is great. It's already spoken. Everything that's in you is in you. It's coming out. I promise you. But if he can make you delay your moment, delay your time, eat up time. And in this book, it really just talks about with them sitting at the gate and going through this whole thing. You have 4 people, they're sitting there. Yeah. One of them speaks out. See, we normally never there by ourselves.
Right.
We'll find somebody else who's going through the same thing. Right. And what happens is when you have like-minded people all stuck in the same situation, then you all just agree why we should just sit here and just die. What we're going to do? One person came to their right mind and said, you know what? We can't sit here. These are our options. Let's weigh our options. And sometimes in this season, especially in 2018, in new beginning, it's not a new beginning for us if we're operating from an old place.
Right.
If we're operating from an old mindset.
Right.
If I'm trying to bring my old stuff into my new year, then what I'm doing is just recreating the same old cycle.
Right.
So if you're sitting with people who are like-minded in a negative way, going through the same troubles, you got to figure out, like, you know what, but if I do this can happen. If I do that can happen. That famine was the worst.
Yeah.
They were eating their own children.
Right.
I teach on that all the time. I said, don't eat your seed. We have a tendency to eat our seed. Even in that note, they're boiling it. I mean, just to survive everything, down to 5 mules. They nothing is left in the city. So you think about it, you got the saved folk on a famine mentality. You're gifted, you're called, you're the chosen people, but you're in a famine mode.
Right.
There's no resources, and your resources are dried up. How many times?
They shut it to where nothing could come in.
What?
And nothing can go out.
Because now you're overthinking everything. You got the Syrians that are trying to get in. Get in for what? You ain't got nothing no way. They done already took everything. You know what I'm saying? So you're sitting there, and it's not too far from where we are today. That a lot of times that we're looking at resources that have dried up. You got great dreams. You got great potential. But life has hit you. You've had disappointments. People walked away from you. And one of them come to their right mind, and they said, you know what? Well, if we do that, if we go back in there, they ain't got no food anyway. We're going to die. If we go over to the Syrians, they going to kill us, but we can take our chances with them.
Right, because they might.
Because they might kill us. Let's take our chance. At least there's a hope. Yeah. See, if you lose hope, my God, what do you have? Hope restored. I mean, just take whatever little hope that you can find. What I love so much is what God had given me in this book, and I can't tell you all of it.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna slow you down. I'm going to slow you down because I really want to. I want to ask this because I ask most authors that begin to write, especially spiritual books. So, at what point and at what moment did you come to yourself to write this book? Because it flows from the head down.
What?
So if you're letting out the clarion call for people to come to themselves, then what did it take for you to be able to come to yourself in order to just even release this type of content?
Because I found myself not too long ago being stuck in such a way. See, we get caught up in titles. We get caught up in what people see you, how you dress, what you look like, the smile on your face, and have no idea you're functioning but still stuck. And there's so many opportunities, but you just can't be able to find your way out. One of the things, Diamond, that the Lord gave me that was so revelatory was twilight time. In the text, they sit there, and at twilight, the one begins to speak up and says, you know what? But if we go over here, and as soon as they made a decision at twilight, when the sun is going down, twilight is twofold, sun going down or the sun coming up. And so what happens is that at twilight, the very moment that they make a decision, the very moment that they make a decision to move, the Father, all heaven is in agreement with them. All heaven is now making a sound from heaven that has now put the enemy on the run. And so the Syrians think that they hear a whole army coming and they're moving out of the way. And what the Lord showed me was we wait for the dawning of a new day, which is like the next day, to say, okay, I made it through the night. But your new day begins at twilight. When the sun is going down, what you decide to do at sundown is the thing that is really your new beginning.
Now, there are people out there, and I want the readers to get this. There are people out there that don't know what time it is in their life. Because they're in that paralyzed state, and they're in that complacent state. And the Bible is so keen when it just anytime the Bible puts a time,
right?
Like when the walking on the water situation, it said it was about the third watch.
Yes.
So and I remember you teaching on the watch, and I've read books like just about the watches that happen throughout the night, and just how important it is just to understand the timing of God. That Chronos and Kairos timing will get you on something else.
Absolutely.
And honestly, this book here is like an awakening in God's timing.
It is.
So,
it messed me up.
What I want, listen, this thing is about.
I was excited. I said, Twilight time. Yeah. You know, all your feasts, all of the Jewish feasts, different things that come, they all started at twilight. It's when the sun goes down. It's biblical.
Wow.
Yes.
It's biblical. Twilight is significant. And we have a tendency to miss the timing of God because we're so busy trying to fight through of whatever that day is. But when the sun is going down, you need to be clear in your mind to make a decision to move. I need to start doing this now. Don't wait until 6 a.m. Go ahead, sir.
Now, every time you say move, I just keep hearing this in my head. Now, see, I'm a theologian at heart with a scientific brain.
Okay.
And so,
don't hurt me now. Don't hurt me.
I'm not gonna get too complicated here. But one of the laws of motion, very simply, is an object at rest stays at rest.
Yes.
An object in motion stays in motion. Now, the sub part of that is that object at rest stays at rest until acted upon by another object or force.
Absolutely.
Object in motion, same thing, unless another object or force. So if you're just gonna sit there, you're gonna sit there until you start moving.
Come on.
And if you're gonna be moving, then nothing can stop you if you don't let it, because the force behind you, if you're a Christian, is greater than any force before you.
That's what I love about this story so much. You're right on point. You just paint that picture so well. When you begin to think about, soon as they made the decision, they hadn't even moved yet.
Right.
They just had a conversation about moving. When your mind becomes free, then your body becomes free. Your spirit becomes the driving seat. So I'm talking to people today that you're not really physically handicapped, but you are, because your mind is so stuck on all of the challenges. You could quickly tell. You know how you know you need this book? When you can turn around and tell me all the reasons why you can't do something. You know, you have a conversation with somebody and everything that you tell them, look, have you tried this? Oh, yeah, I did that already. Oh, yeah, I've been there already. And you don't understand. If I do that, this is what's going to happen. Your mind is now paralyzed on negative.
Right.
You are stuck. You are just stuck in a place that has you now perpetuating a same old repetitive cycle. Every day, your day's bad. Why? Because you're not doing anything different.
Now, I want to ask this as a pastor.
Yes.
As a minister of the Word of God, the unadulterated Word of God, what do you see in people that you minister to that is the main issue in moving forward?
It is the fight of releasing the mind. That's one of the reasons why, in order to move forward, you have to have a thought process that is going to push you. You know, you have people that are walking around, but they're still walking dead.
Right.
They're moving, but they're not producing. And their gifts and the talents. I'm not going to take all of this gifting to the grave with me.
Right.
I'm going to rob it of all of the potential because I got it. And I got to move out in this. I have to really be able to tell you, when you're in relationships that are broken, when you have, even in the ministry, you have to become vulnerable to being in relationships with people who are sick and people who quit easy, and you're giving all the energy, and so you can get stuck, even being the motivated one.
Right, you can get tired.
Most people don't ever think, oh, they're just always on point. Nah, boo. Let me tell you, I've read this over and over again in my notes, and I said, you know what? This is refreshing and reviving, because the biggest thing is, and I've said this, and you've heard it, heaven rules, I win.
Yeah.
Because heaven is at when I make a decision and I'm in agreement with God. All I got to do is say, I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how it's going to pan out. But if you can use anything, won't you use me? I'm just going to make myself available. And they begin to move. And when they begin to move, there is that sound that turned around, and their enemies didn't know what to do with them because they were on the move. What do you do with that? when what you thought was holding you is really running from you. And you don't even know why it's running from you, because there's greater behind you.
Yeah.
And so the wind, the sound, they heard a might. It was just 4 of them.
Right.
And this is what I love so much about the story. This is what I love. And it's amazing to me is that they're sitting there planning at the gate to die.
Right.
It's, when they're going to die.
Yeah.
But when they get there and find out that the Syrians have run away and left all their stuff.
Yes.
They went from this, check this out. They went from thinking about planning their death to hiding stuff of planning on coming back for it. So now they got a retirement plan. You hear me? In one day, God can take you from one place to another just like that. When you just make a decision to move. They went from, we just going to sit here and die, to a place of, OMG, let me hide, because I can't even handle all of the spoils, all of the blessings that God has for us that is right over the hill that you can't even see because you stuck at the gate.
Right.
Somebody better move out there. I'm trying to tell you, you need to have this tool.
Absolutely.
It's like my jump start. Everybody's fasting and they're doing, we were just talking about that because we're getting ready to do our fast and healthy drinks and healthy eating and all that stuff. So spiritually, we need the same thing. We need to jump start our spirit and remain focused. We need to, because stuff is coming at you hour on hour, and unexpected things are always there.
Now, what would you say to the person that is just like, I have gotten so many books like this. I've gotten so many pieces of text like this, and even when I read the word, it's encouraging for a minute, and then all of a sudden it just trickles right on back. What would you say to that person? How would you minister to that person in order to tell them that this is a different?
The major piece for me, Diamond, was that the keeping it short, because I'm not one. I have a short attention span, so I like things to be simple. I like a lot of pictures too. I like to see. I'm a visual learner, and so I had to go for me. But if you can, I'm normally a magazine reader, and even in the book, I start from the back and then work my way up front, right? Yes. So you got to hit me hard from the beginning. But when I read this, it's so short that I can read it in a day. I get lost in it. Everyone who's read it said, "OMG, I didn't put it down until I finished it." And then you're able to go back and pull keys of things that, tomorrow, what was that part again? What time is it again? And what am I doing? It pushes you as a manuscript. Just like we're to use the word of the Lord. Sometimes we think I got to read the whole Bible from the beginning into the end. No, I'm gonna trust the Holy Spirit. I'm gonna open this thing up. Speak to me, God, and give me a text. This is specifically for you when you're feeling sluggish, when you're feeling tired and mentally not sharp. I need to know what's next. What we're going to do next.
Absolutely. And it's important that you don't only just, glaze through the book and just borrow it off. No, invest into this book so that you can always have something to go back on. One thing that I remember when I was in college, if it's your major, you're going to want to buy all of the books in your major because that's what you're going to rely on after the graduation.
You're going to make me run around the room.
So you may have feel like you've graduated from this state, but something is going to come back. There are times and seasons. The enemy leaves for a season, but he's going to come back to tempt you. So don't only just buy to get it off of a friend, but no, buy this book. Invest into yourself, because this is your major. This is your life. You know what I mean? This is God, and if you're walking with God, then we all go through those different times and seasons, just like these four lepers. This is just a time and season in their life. I mean, they never expected for this issue to hit them the way it hit them. And if life has knocked you off of your feet, I'm going to encourage you to get this book, Professor J.
Now, we've been telling people about this fantastic book, and listen, I got to get myself a copy about it, but I need you to tell the people where they can get the book.
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot for real. This week, this Friday coming up, on January 19th, we're going to be doing our book signing. And we are so excited about the book signing. It's Solid Rock.
You guys can get that book. You guys can go to the book signing on January the 19th, 2018. That's right, at the Truth That Rocks bookstore.
That's the Truth That Rocks.
Yes, and it is at one. It's at 100. I always pronounce these weird when it's four digits. 1100 New Road, Northfield, New Jersey, 08225. So, listen, I've been to the Truth the Rocks bookstore frequently. In fact, that's one of my favorite hangout spots.
It's a hidden little spot. I'm trying to tell you, it is so good. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so honored because we got to take care of that, which is at home. Amen. And most people don't know that it's even there. So it's like you got to get there.
And it's and they also have in the back of the store the Solid Rock.
Ha-ta-ta.
Yeah, the Solid Rock coffees.
Right.
Coffee
and
as
that's
well.
what we're going to do it. So we're doing the book signing right there. We're going to be able to have a great fellowship, really. And this is about kingdom. It's about making a kingdom connection. Just the name of the bookstore, The Truth That Rocks. Anyway, you know, this is the truth. And so we want you to come in and pick up of that, a copy of your own. What I was really dealing with, even with leaders, in this particular text, because the lepers are lepers. See, you go through stuff and you get labeled with stuff.
Yes.
Right? And so now people only see you as a lepers. Now, the lepers go in and meet with the king, meet with the leaders, and the king is looking at them suspicious because you thought your answer, you thought your solution, you thought your gift was going to come a different way.
Right.
You thought that they were going to be dressed up, looking a certain kind of way, acting. And see, you never know your blessing is where it's coming from.
Yes.
And hidden treasures, of connections. And so even as leaders, we have a tendency to be so judgmental. And what happened was, what I love so much about this particular text, and it's in here for our leaders, is that we get to a place where when they shared with them, come and get the resources. We ain't charging you nothing, just come and get it, right?
Wow, my God.
How many of leaders saying, what's the hidden agenda? What's the catch? You couldn't possibly be really wanting to bless us.
Right.
And as leaders in the kingdom of God, we've got to tear down that mindset that has us so suspicious of one another.
Right.
I mean, so distant. Well, how is this going to benefit me? Well, bull, if you stuck, and you know someone is stuck, then you need to come and make an investment.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's the other piece about leadership, that we can really have a jacked up mindset.
Right.
And whether we admit it or not, you can go through enough stuff that they said, oh, as soon as we go out there, they're going to come in and take some. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing to take, you know. So that's one of the pieces that I love.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about that when you said leadership. You know, we have a lot of fantastic leaders here.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so often people come across a not so good one.
Right.
And are ready to, just like the leaders look at the lepers.
Right.
Just like how we can look at the leaders and say, oh, you know what, I've been through this.
Right.
I don't trust this person.
Right.
And just speaking from the mind of a millennial, my generation, we're so extremely skeptical.
Wow.
Of everything and anything. Now,
right.
No, that's a double-edged sword, because the bad end of it is we ask a lot of questions. Yes. But the good end of it is we ask a lot of questions.
Right.
And I think that it's fantastic when leaders like you have so many answers.
Oh.
And to have put so much of that wisdom in a book that people could just pick up and just...
Let me tell you,
goodness.
I think it brings us together to be able to have good conversation, because it doesn't matter where you are, how old you are, how young you are. It gives us a place, a meeting ground to be able to meet there. We've always been there. And at that contagious point, that we've got to check, no matter where you are in the story, you got to check when your mindset is off. Right. When you're so superstitious and suspicious, and I know you ain't supposed to say superstitious being church folk. No, we superstitious. Yeah. We got all kind of hang-ups, issues and tissues and puffs. Y'all know that's what I say. Issues, tissues, and puffs. And we let them go in 2018. But if you are entering in to your new year fresh, and this is one of the things that I didn't say, but we just went through a season where the Lord required for us to do a release, 7-year release. That means I got to release you. I got to release anybody who hurt me. Right. I got to release anybody who owes me money. Anything. You got to do a release in order to be able to receive that. So it is so on timing. We were talking about timing in Twilight. Yeah. The timing of this year, which is so important for 2018. How are you going to have a new beginning if you refuse to release anybody of their debt? Yeah. It is the most powerful freeing point. And then you get your mobility back, because now you ain't tripping over enemies. You're not tripping over what hang-ups or what you do. It's straight. You got a clean sheet of paper. What you write on it is what's going to make a difference.
Absolutely. And I just think that it's cool when you can embrace the new stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when we were talking about the coffee shop, it reminded me of when you were talking about you went to Canada, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were in church. Yes, and they were in church, and they would have coffee.
Everybody
and they would
coffee.
just and free.
Free.
And I think that's
Free.
something, because we can get so stagnant just in our relationship.
Do you hear me? They had the jeans on, a cup of coffee, and everybody is getting ready to go into service.
I love it.
And it messed my head up culturally. I'm in Canada, and I'm looking like, well, aren't we about to go to church? I just bought coffee.
Yes.
Am I going to take my coffee in the sanctuary? Well, baby, they were so free. They went in with their coffee. They praised with the other hand, and it was amazing.
You got to think. Anytime that I think about the modern church, I love to imagine, would the early church have this problem?
Right.
Like even like with the early church. Well,
true.
We look at the building the church, but at the early church, it was the body, it was the people.
Yes.
They were meeting in houses. And not even the same house, because you had to keep moving.
Right.
Because you were being, even after Paul was converted, there were still people after you trying to get you killed.
Yes.
And so it's just amazing to me when you look at the early church, everything that they had to go through, even when you look at the world they lived in. We want to talk about, you know what, we're losing America. America's not a Christian nation anymore. Well, you know what? We're spoiled in America.
What?
We are spoiled.
Absolutely.
If your Christian mindset is about being comfortable in your own country, I got something to tell you. We're supposed to be aliens and foreigners in our own land. So I don't understand this new American, I'm the victim, I can't do this.
What?
Our religion freedoms, it's not what it was in the 1920s. It's not like every day of school starts with prayer. It's not like every single person in your community is in the church. But the thing is, our freedoms we still have so much other freedoms.
Yeah.
And even though it's a shame that you're gonna be made, that you might be made fun of for bringing a Bible into your school.
Right.
Well, at least you have the opportunity
to
minister to people at your school.
Yeah.
I remember being at the I'm not an athlete, but I was in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at my school.
Okay.
Just because it was a Christian gathering, and you know what? Most of us weren't athletes, but we were all different young Christian people who could talk freely at their school.
Yes.
And so it's just amazing to me, the fact that we still have so much freedom, and we can just take that for granted. And we need to start moving in that freedom, and not just sitting and being stagnant. Are we just going to sit here and say, oh, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I can't do that anymore? Yeah. Or are we going to use the freedom that has been given to us to spread the message of Jesus Christ? Even to those of you on Facebook, we have the availability to broadcast the message of Jesus Christ in a way that the disciples only wish they had.
What?
You can be in a church service,
the tools we have,
and you can be speaking to that congregation, but you can take that service and take it all across the world.
Absolutely.
And you know what else? You can even like locally, we have the opportunity to be on the 88.7 and be able to communicate the message of Jesus Christ this way.
Yeah.
And it's so. It just baffles me that we feel like we have the right to complain about all these things.
And we do that spiritually too. I mean, you have people that walk around and it's just like, don't you know that you're free? Don't you know that he died for you? Don't you know? But we're always focused on what's going on. Right. No. You are free, and that's what's important, of knowing what time it is in your life, because you may still be in that same mentality of the old season of being bound up and nothing's working. But God, I really believe that there is an open heaven right now. That if you should just go and just start, investing into just different things. Start investing into, your spiritual book. Start investing into, getting a new job or whatever. Investing into yourself, because you are free. You have that liberty. And we can walk around and we can take for granted just the grace of God, which abounds while we're still stuck. We should be further along than what we are. We should be able to minister to people. And I was just talking about this, about how, millennials, that we're the topic right now. Right. But eventually, this new generation that's coming up, they're going to need our stories that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. If we don't know that we are free to make the decision,
my God,
to even make the decision, you are free. And that's why I want all, just the readers and the listeners to know you are free. You're free to make the decision of, should I just sit here and die? You have the liberty to choose.
My God.
We all have the liberty to choose when this life is over and everything everything will come to an end. The only thing that lasts is the word of God. Everything that we debate so much and we talk about so much, these songs that we love so much, they're going to pass away. These jobs that we love so much, they're going to pass away. This discussion of should we drink this, should we not drink this, should we eat this, should we not eat this, all of that is going to pass away. It is vanity.
That's it.
It is all vanity. However, the only thing that remains is the word of God. And when you get to heaven and when you get before his prayer, he's going to ask, what did you do?
That's exactly right.
What did you do?
With the time that you got.
Yes.
Let me tell you, listeners that are out there, I'm looking at two powerhouse upcoming preachers. They tearing it up on here right about now. I'm sitting back here like a proud mama saying, y'all go, just go. Teach. But this is real conversations that need to be had that we can get so stuck in, because this is the other piece too. We wanted to make it evangelistic so that on the piece of keeping it short, straight to the point, get to it, bring the word of God into it, direct me. Why is this important? And having a conversation, because whether you have accepted Christ for your personal Savior or you have, we can relate on the things that have made us stuck. We can connect on the things that make us think that we can't or we're not loved enough. But I'm telling you, I'm so grateful for the love of God, who said all you got to do is think it. If you just think it, I promise you, I'll stand in agreement with you. But if you get up and move, I'm going to send all heaven is going to back you. You're looking for a bank to back you for your project. You're looking for somebody who's got all the million. Baby, I'm connected to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You talking about somebody having a black card. Let me tell you the truth. It's like you haven't seen the ability when you are connected to heaven. And he said, if you would just move, I'll move with you. If you just begin to think about it, I'm in agreement, because all the purpose is already on the inside of you. But the enemy, the warfares of the mind. And if I can paralyze your mind, then I can hinder you from ever moving forward and being all that what was purposed in you. And the devil is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But today, I tell you, this is the question. It's all about a decision. If you make up your mind, I can't afford to sit here and die. I've got too much in me. I got babies depending on me. I got a generation. The decisions that y'all doing right now, guess what? 14 generations behind you are going to benefit or suffer based upon what you do. I mean, for real. It's if you can't do it for yourself, get up and move for those that are coming up behind you. Because right now you just being a lump in the log, blocking progress. Get yourself together and let's get connected to people.
Absolutely.
We all get tired. We all have our good days and our bad days. But when you get around people that have divine purpose, no matter where they came from, I might have been a leopard at one day, but I don't want to have a leopard mindset. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to moving.
I think one of the things about this mindset thing, it's a cliche. Everyone talks about climbing the mountain. But here's the thing. They always talk about getting to the top. They always talk about the obstacles. But the hardest part of climbing a mountain is looking at it and say, you know what? I want a piece of that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to get to the top of that. That's the hardest part, because before you even start climbing, you got to look at it. You got
the preparation. See, I keep saying, we're going to take the mountain by force. We talked about it this year of Kingdom making an impact, the 7 mountains of influence. I said, before you could take the mountain, you got to touch the mountain. You got to get there. You got to deal with it. You got to have some tools with you. How are we going to take the mountain? Because if I'm going to climb, I need to have the right tools. You hear what I'm saying? And you've got to go and get what you need. But just start moving. And that's the thing that I'm just so grateful for, the opportunity to have this location right here, to be on this radio station for real, to share with somebody who right now says, yes, I'm at the beginning of my year, but I don't feel like I've entered my new. I promise you, you are right now in your new season. You're just one decision away.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I want to share a little bit of my testimony, because it fits in with the topic.
Okay.
So about 5 months ago, I was in an automated accident. Anybody who follows me on social media has seen the pictures. I was T-boned, got knocked out, woke up in the hospital, had a fractured elbow, had to get surgery in there, had a fractured leg, couldn't walk on it. But during that time, I had discouraging moments. I had times where I felt like, oh my goodness, I can't do the things that I would normally do right now. But I never thought that I would never be able to do them again. And that, and the support of those around me, and the faith in God is what I know kept me through it.
Absolutely.
Because when it comes down to it, I don't look like what I've been through.
You don't, sir.
And anybody who has the mindset of they're going to get through this is going to come out in the way of they're not going to look like what they've been through.
I'm telling you.
When you've climbed a mountain and you've climbed back down, people don't know how high you've been, how many obstacles you've had to climb over, how many times you almost fell, how many times you did fall and had to climb back up the same steps.
Right.
And so this thing about being able to move, you have to take a step.
Yeah.
You cannot get where you're going unless you take a step.
Gotta move.
We like the Christmas specials. Those little clay animation ones. Yeah. And there's this one with the Santa Claus is coming to town. And we don't believe in Santa here, but there's a song he sings. He says you gotta put one foot in front of the other.
I know it. Don't make me preach Santa. I promise you, don't make me do it. I'll preach Santa. See, because Santa, again, we've allowed the world to take something, but Santa was a priest. He wanted to make good. He was a servant of the Lord. He was a servant, and they didn't turn it. I mean, so when you turn around, people want to take Christ out of it. But when you get behind that whole thing, it was making the difference to children that didn't have anything. So again, he had to move. Yep. He had to move. And so then it just took a whole nother level that he's now moving all over the world. But we serve a global God.
Yes.
You know what? We serve a global God. And so however I can relate to you, however I can draw you, don't make me preach Santa.
I got something off of that too.
Yeah.
You see, because Saint Nicholas, the person, the individual, the Catholic Church may have deified him after his departure from this world, and while the culture may have made him into this all-seeing, all-knowing, kids be good or Santa's going to punish you guy, when it comes to individuals have the power to do so much in this world. But we have to be careful to not deify people whose achievements we are proud of or whose achievements we envy. Because the thing is, when it comes to God and creation, God is a fair creator, and he puts something in everyone.
Every one of us.
Like there's every single one of us.
Got a gift.
Listen, I love my little brother, and he's talented beyond what I can measure. He can sing, and he's an excellent singer.
Right.
And I love that. I can't sing, and I don't care.
Me either.
But I love enjoying my brother sing. I love enjoying seeing my beautiful girlfriend sing. I love seeing all these singers. And I say, you know what? They are talented people, and I love their talent. But I don't have to go in that lane. I don't have to stick in that lane. Because if I try to sing, if I try to go step into that, listen, someone. You don't want to see that.
Someone's got to promote them. Someone's got to get that recorded. Someone's got to be the IT behind it.
Yes.
And so together, what a dream team is made when you use the giftings come together. Yeah. And that's how come we need each other. Yes. I need you to survive. It's not just a cliche, for real. I need to be connected to you. I need to be able to get here on this show so that your listeners can be able to hear. I had some of the titles that's in the book, and I wanted to share that real quick. It goes, Will You Sit Here and Die? Of course, the introduction, but you've got leprosy, being able to identify your stinking thinking, those things that are leprosy and contagious. What are our options? So it gives you a real clear plan of being able to say, what choices do I really have? You'll find yourself being stuck and it doesn't look good, but you got to move. And then it goes right into making a decision. Take it all back and share. Sometimes we go from the place of not just getting back what we have, but how can now we bless somebody else? Amen. When I think about what you were just sharing, your testimony is what empowers other people. This book, Will I Sit Here and Die?
Yes.
Just don't say, it's my testimony. It's me being transparent to say I was stuck.
Right.
And not too long ago, even while being pastor and apostle, come on, I was stuck. I got stuck. But because of his grace and his mercy, now I'm not coming out just by devil, you done messed up now. You done messed up because now not only am I coming out, but I'm bringing every listener, everybody who's connected. We're coming out together. And so now we empower a village. We empower a nation. We empower the world because we're willing to connect. And so then also it deals with suspicious leaders that I was talking about. And then runners. You know, those people that once you get the fire and I got my fire back, I'm ready to run. And then it talks about just showing up. The power of just showing up. Some of your greatest miracles take place when you just show up. You want the job? Show up. Stop talking yourself out of it. Show up. I mean, be a part of something greater. I'm trying to tell you, you just showing up here and all the things that you're doing and how you've been coming in to volunteer and to help. And look at what God has done. You got your own show. I mean, this is like, look at God, but you showed up. You understand what I'm saying? It's something about it. And then divine appointments, that when we have encounters of divine appointments, and you never know what God has got planned for you if you don't get dressed, get out of the bed, get out of your house, and show up and watch God do amazing things.
That's awesome. Like, I honestly, when you said that just, it brings to my mind a scripture and then something that you preach.
Mm-hmm.
And the scripture, it says, Peter, the enemy wants to sift you like wheat.
Yes, ma'am.
But I've prayed for you. And after all that is said and done, go strengthen your brethren.
Right.
And what did he do? He went to that house and he knocked on the door. And it was her Rhonda. She opened up the door, and you preached about this. And it's just about, keeping the seats. Just open the door.
Open the door.
Just open the door. I mean, we all have been through different things. And just because we've been sifted and we've been knocked off. Right. And honestly, the sifting does not mean that, you brought it on yourself. Or the sifting doesn't mean that, woe is me. No, it's to strengthen you. Yes. It's to provide the necessary tools that you need to move forward, move to the next. He didn't only go to that house. He went to the next house and the next house and the next house. Right. Because we have to encourage one another.
Keep moving.
Absolutely.
Keep moving.
Keep moving forward. Keep going. Keep ministering. And to a lot of people, a lot of leaders, we are so downtrodden, and we're just like, why me? Why not you?
Why not you?
Why not you? You know what I mean? We have so much to give, so much to grow. So I want to ask you, in this point of your walk with the Lord, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like you have a lot more just to give out?
Yeah.
Like, because I know that there are some times where it's just like, I don't know what else to give.
We say that, right?
Right.
We say that.
Right.
But that's one of the things, and I'm glad that's a good question to ask, because I was just saying, just to birth out this book was the hardest portion. It was the hardest thing to do, just to be able to get it. I could preach all day, but to get it in book form was one of the hardest things to do. But now we got like 8 more ready to come behind it, because what we found out is that it is a tool that everybody is not oral. And so I need to be able to see it. But there's so much more in you, and the miracles in the making. You know what I'm saying? It's the feedback, and what keeps me going, Diamond, is that now when people are reading the book and they're posting up and what it did for them. One guy was talking about his whole thing of going to court and not wanting to show up, and he read the book and he said, God, I'm going to believe you or I'm not. I'm either going to believe that you're going to help me through this or I'm not. He read the book, he went. Case dismissed. You hear what I'm saying?
Wow.
He said, but I wanted to jump bail. I wanted to leave. I just wanted to run away the opposite direction. I just wanted to take my life and end it. I had all of these things because I didn't see any way out. That is the reward for me that says you've got to keep pressing. You got to get that which is in you out of you, because too many other people are depending on hearing what it is that's already in you. You survived for a reason. You made it for a reason. And so when you think about that, Jared, when you survived the stuff that you went through to give your testimony. A test is what you ain't got no testimony if you ain't got no test. I can't be real with you about being stuck if I'm not transparent enough to talk about how I was stuck in relationship, stuck, all kind of stuff. People want to talk about addictions and all that. I'm like, Joker, you're still just as bad as that one is taking drugs if you're running to food, if you're trying to feed yourself, eat your way to the grave. I mean, we all got issues about, we got something that's made us stuck, but we also serve a God who's so mighty, and all we have to do is unleash our thinking and tap into the full purpose of the destiny of the Lord. So I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's been fantastic having you on the show.
Yes.
Good to be home.
Yes. And, listen, guys, if you want to know more about this book, you can rewatch this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ccm101. You can rewatch it on the website, www.webcm101.com. we have gospel.com. You can listen to it on the air on Gospel 88.7 FM. If you, well, actually, I guess if you're at this part, you've already listened to it on the air. But there's just so many places that you can get all this information. And we're going to be reposting information about the book. We're going to be reposting information about Truth That Rocks bookstore, where you can go and get the book.
Absolutely.
And definitely make sure you're there January the 19th at Truth That Rocks bookstore from 6 to 9.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a fantastic time. It's if you're in the area, you know, it's right next to the One Stop Shop. So it's right there at 100 or 1000.
Something like
It's 1100. I always don't know how to pronounce that, but it's on New Road.
Well, you know, this is two ways too, because hot off the press, you helped me out over here. We can get it on Amazon.
Yes.
And then I could sign it for you. We can have a discussion about how it, you know, what it did for you. You can get the book. I'm so excited about that. Order it off of Amazon. You got the information.
And off of the website, www.robbinhargrove.com, and it's /WYSHAD. So WY Shad is why sit here and die.
Why sit here and die?
Yes.
Get your bring it with you. Come get a copy with you. I'd love to see all you there. Next Friday night is going down.
Yes.
All right. So, any closing words for the listeners?
Just thank you so much again for this opportunity to be here. I'm so grateful. I am expecting great testimonies to be able to come back from this piece and many other, and a divine connection to even take place when we all gather there next Friday night. I believe that it's going to be a setup. Excellent. I believe that we're going to connect to people that we never knew before. So it's a kingdom movement. It's a small spot, but I'm telling you, we're going to pack the house, have a line around the corner. It's going down.
I hear book tour. You need to take this thing on
a book tour. Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's do it. You know I like to travel, so I'm always on the road.
Yes.
And we want to do that.
For those of you who are listening on Facebook, if you guys aren't from the state and you want Pastor Robbin to come and hey listen, we will connect you. We will connect you. And links to buy the book are going to be in the description. But for those of you listening on the radio, this about does it for CCM 101. I'm Professor J.
This is Diamond Chanel.
And Apostle Robbin Hargrove.
And as always, you've been listening to us on Christ Center, community-focused, listener-supported Gospel 88.7 FM and 100.3 FM in Atlantic City. We've had a great show, and we will